Bear with me. Just got a few things to take care of. Fix this. And let's get this stuff all set up. I am on mute, which is good because I don't want to hear myself more than once. Oh, wait. What are you doing? Hmm. Hello, Froggy. I don't think anybody else, well, it's saying there's 3 people. You and me would be 2. So there's somebody else on here. Don't know who it is. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to be just a little bit anyway because I got to get everything set up. Hello, Carol. All right, what is going on here? All of a sudden. Okay, what on earth? That is not what I want. Come on, what is going on? Copy link. Hello, Terry. Okay, now it works. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, all right, got that. Yes. Man, it'd be nice if YouTube would get the, look at the top of my head. Probably see all like little gray hairs on top of my head, so let me kind of duck a little bit. So you don't see that. All right, I need this. And let's see, get this. Hold on. This needs to be bigger because I need, oh, no, that's not where I do it. Ha ha. Of course, my laptop's got to sound like it's going to take off. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Copy. I will tell you guys, whoever invented copy and paste is a genius. Just saying. Let's see, I need this. change our picture to what we're doing tonight. And that. No, check that out, check that out. That. Want that. Newest. And hit save. Crunch time, crunch time. Okay, so that is saved. So let me go back here. Let me get this. And let me update in one other place and then we will get started. Ooh, we got some people on here. And all right, what do I want? I want to do this. Okay, and so we get this. And you now got my picture on there. Oh, I tell you, I tell you, I tell you, I tell you. All right, come on. You don't want to add it, do you? Almost there, guys. Just bear with me for one more moment. Oops. And then let me go here. And then go here. And what am I doing? Share this. Share now. Okay, so there that is. I think I have everything now. So that's done. There's me. There's everybody. Who am I missing here? Let's see. Got Froggy, Carol, Weston. I gotta always say the last name because we got two Carols that are usually on here. Got Terry and Sharon and Becky and Tracy. Who else we got? Yeah, Terry, it's cold here. And your buddy is sick. So she's not here in the studio this weekend. She is watching from home. Okay, Yvonne, that's not snow. Come on. That's a dusting. If I could still see blades of grass through it, that's not snow. That's a dusting. Yeah, it ain't 80s here. It's like in the 20s. Okay, I think I have everything all set up on here. Um, and yep, some of you are already on top of it. The link for the Google spreadsheet is pinned up at the top. And wow, there's some weird things, I'll tell you. So don't mind me. I'm in my pajamas, okay? I don't know if it was this or if it was the other one that I got that's got the coffee cups on it. But this was, my formal wear for New Year's Eve when I did my video from my living room. But, it's cold here. It's a little drafty, and I decided I was going to get a little bit comfy. So, now, what do I want to mention? So, oh, Carol Weston. So, first, I want to tell you that um, it wasn't on Saturday because Saturday, the whole day with the funeral and all that. That on Tuesday when I talked to Stephanie, I kind of like I showed her. What did I show her? Oh, I showed her a picture of the card, and I even put a little sticky note in there, and I told her, well, there's a little story that was tied to it, and I explained to her, you know, I made mention. I said I showed her the picture. I said, "Remember this picture? This I shared that and asked everybody to pray for you and your family with everything that was, going on, especially with Saturday." And then I told her about when we did the card drawing at the end that when I chose you, that you wanted me to give the card to her. So she was very touched, and I will tell you that she's like me, she will easily shed a tear. So she was really touched, and she thanks you for that. So I did get the cards mailed out on Monday. The cards from tonight, it's probably going to take a little bit for me to get them out because one of the things I got to do, my car needs some new brakes. And so I am being very, 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 very limited on any driving that I am doing. So typically I will drop them off at the post office like on a Sunday, but I don't even think I'm going anywhere on Sunday. So it's going to be a little bit. Uh, and as far as cards go, birthday cards, it was a very, very extremely light week. There's only 2 cards. So I will show those at the end. Um, so Froggy's getting all her birthday cards. Well, at least it's not taking forever for you to get them. That it looks like they're coming fairly quickly. Let's see. Oh, one maybe it's a positive note. I got my hair on my face. On a positive note, I don't know if any of you here in the U.S. saw, but that postmaster, what's his name? DeJoy, he's leaving. So hopefully everything with the post office is going to get better because they have just, I got to be polite and I can't curse on here. It's gone downhill. And hopefully it's going to get better because I can't justify the fact that postage goes up on everything and yet the service just gets worse. So hopefully things are going to change. Oh, you're watching an online card retreat last. Whoops, let me look on here. Watching an online card retreat. Last demo tonight is now. Ooh, Deborah, you got to let me know who's holding the retreat. What other demos are there? Wonder if I know any of them. Terry Hartley. I don't know her. Is she there in Ohio? Or is she in another state? It's getting a little warm. I did in another state. Okay. Yeah, I broke down and put my heat up an extra degree to 73 because I am on a concrete slab. Even though I got carpeting and all that, it's still a little drafty on the floor. So, um, other than that, not a whole lot of anything else. Like Yvonne mentioned about snow. No, no. If you're from up north, you know what snow is. When you see the blades of grass poking through, then that's not snow. That's just a dusting. I will say that last one of the things that I was kind of worried about. So it was Friday night, and I would say it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. At that point, I was laying in bed, I was watching TV, and it was getting a little noisy outside. And so I took a peek out my blind, and we had some severe weather, like, I mean, a lot of lightning and thunder, and the rain was just slamming on my window. I don't know if there was any like sleet or anything mixed in with it, but or hail actually, but it was pretty intense. I mean, I got to the point where it's like, okay, let's close the blinds, let's close the curtains, and let's just go climb back in. You know what, Froggy? Here, okay, so here's the whole thing. Here's the whole thing about that. So that Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, I mean, it was pretty intense. Okay, Yvonne. It was pretty intense. So the one thing that I was worried about is they were talking about severe weather on Saturday. And I kept on looking at my, the radar and everything on my phone, hoping that all of that was going to be later because, you know, when they talked about severe weather and at 1 o'clock in the morning that was considered severe weather, that's not what I want to drive through. That's not what I want to deal with. And so when I left here, it was cloudy. It was temperature wise, it was decent. It was pretty warm. Um, I got, on the way there, I would say it took me about a half an hour to get there. And along the way, I think there were two different times. There were a couple of big drops of rain that hit the car and then it stopped. And then while I was there, we had the service. And then when we had gone outside, it wasn't raining. And then on my way back here, it didn't rain at all. Actually, the sun poked out. And so I was here for maybe about an hour. And I know when I left, Yvonne had texted me to let her know when I was at home. And so I wasn't even here, I think, for an hour. And she had called and she said, okay, about wanting to come over. And she said, well, she'd have hubby drop her off. See, she walked away to go have dinner. So, we're talking about her now. But he wasn't going to be done with work probably until around 6 o'clock. So I said to her, okay, well, if you really want to come here, then you cannot wait till 6 o'clock. Then I'm just going to have to come and get you if you really want to be here, because at that time it may end up hitting the fan and I don't think you're going to be going anywhere. So I left here when got her, the sky was getting kind of dark and all that. Didn't rain at all. We did make a stop at the store and then came back here. Still nothing. I actually had the heat off. I have my patio door open, and that was open for quite a few hours after we got back here. And then Terry, we actually called Terry because she sent a couple of gifts, had it delivered to Yvonne, which then she brought them over, and then I had opened them. We had her on the phone, and she'll tell you that nothing was, it was a little windy. It it was late. It was a lot later. It was already dark that it started to rain some. And then there were a couple of claps of thunder, not even much of anything. And what was crazy that really not far from here, just a little teeny bit north of here, they were under a tornado warning. Yet the tornado sirens weren't going off here. And it makes no sense because if you got a tornado warning anywhere in this county, all of the sirens are going to go off. None of our sirens went off. There were ones that sound a little bit different that I heard in the distance, but we had more severe that Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning than we did that night. Now, to say, was I disappointed in it? Well, I mean, I'm all for a good storm. I'm just not for it when it's dark and it's nighttime. But yeah, not much happened. I mean, our lights didn't flicker, they didn't go off, my internet stayed. So that's what happened with that storm. And then that just kind of like blew out to the East Coast. So that was all the excitement that there was. And then you can tell, like, at some point after that, that the temperature definitely was dropping. And so, yep, the patio door was closed and then the heat was turned back on sometime in the middle of the night. I got up and thought it was a little chilly, so I turned it back on. So, but other than that, I think what we're gonna do is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna quickly go through these the housekeeping stuff. That's the same thing. Nothing really different's happening. At least I don't think so. And then we'll get into the projects. The projects are fairly easy. There is a little tiny bit of, yes, we did get very lucky with that because there were a lot of areas, I think just north and moving towards the east, they were dealing with, uh, like the tornado warnings. And I think it was the same storm where like Kentucky and all that got all that severe flooding and all that. So, I mean, we did, like I said, that night at 1 o'clock in the morning, we got more rain and more of a storm than we did that Saturday evening. So, weather is like crazy here. So, all right. So, let me take this, let me flip this, and hopefully, you're not going to be looking at my ceiling. And let me move this down some. And I know I gotta tape down, I put down a new piece of grid paper, so I know I gotta tape that down. So the same stuff's really going on here. The last chance, I'm trying to make sure that I'm straight here. So the last chance products, I haven't checked to see what's gone now, but there's still more stuff out there. So there is a link that will take you to where all that last chance stuff is uh, in the online store. Let's see, the new Paper Pumpkin subscription for March, Daisy Daydream, that is still going on. March 10th is the last day to subscribe to this. Again, this is only available to people in North America. Now, I will mention about the February kit. This particular kit, I had to pause it, so I'm not physically getting the kit. However, Yvonne is getting the kit if she hasn't already gotten it by now. And she's been so generous to let me at least create one of each of those projects so I can still do the video and show you what's in it and all that other stuff. So I just don't know exactly when that's going to get done. It may get done sometime next weekend. We'll see. It all depends if Yvonne comes over next weekend because she sounded pretty sick when I talked to her yesterday. So hopefully she's feeling a little bit better today. So whenever I see her again and she has the kit, then I can do the video for that. So it'll be pre-recorded. I typically don't, I mean, I record them live, but they're unlisted, just so, and then they get scheduled, but we'll see what happens. I don't think it'll be a live where, I'll have it like this, like my Friday Night Live, only because I don't know exactly what day or time that I'm going to be doing it. So then there's also the coordinating add-on dies. This is the Spring is in the Air. So these dies coordinate with the January, February, and March kits, but you don't need the dies to complete what's in the kit. Uh, we still got Celebration. This is almost over, February 28th. So what is that, next week? Celebration will be done. So you still, as far as I know, everything that's in this brochure is still available. There's also some additional items that they added. These are items that are from not just the annual catalog, but also a couple of things that's in the mini catalog as well. Uh, so as far as I know, that stuff is still available there. Then we got our mini catalog that's still going until April, or is that yeah, well, actually until May 5th. And then there's the scrapbooking brochure. I believe that I got a link that will take you on to this. Now, I will say that I do have something from here that I have coming probably sometime next week, but this will be something that I do in July, not July, in March. Boy, I'm really jumping, aren't I? So the meant to be, the whole scrapbooking workshop kit, along with that designer series paper, the two-tone cardstock, the stamp set, and the dies. I will be doing this in sometime in March. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. And then we still have our annual catalog going. So if you're not working with another demonstrator, you're here in the US and you would like the printed copies of the catalogs, my email address is in the description. Just send me an email, let me know which catalogs you would like along with your mailing address, and then I'll get them mailed out to you. Let's see, was there anything else? I don't think so. I don't think that there was anything, there was nothing that they really added on the website as far as anything else. Let me just take a quick peek because I want to be able to give you any information that's out there, but uh, I don't think there was really anything. Okay, so there's this. Okay, so there will be changes to the Stampin' Rewards program. So right now, whenever you placed an order of $150 or more, you would get 10% in Stampin' Rewards. It will be changing. It looks like April 15th is when the new program's going to go in effect, and it doesn't have it listed here. But if you are placing, like, say, a sizable order, I believe it's orders that are $450 or more, Currently, you're able to choose an item that's not a suite at 50% off. Also, what is there? There's like starter kit codes, um, any of that stuff. So if you have an order that's kind of sitting out there that you would be getting any of these rewards, uh, it's suggested um, that by the latest April 13th or even just before that, that you get those orders done and submitted, because it looks like here on the 14th of April, any orders that are sitting out there just like as pending, meaning you haven't submitted it, they're going to be removed. Host codes. Now, I haven't done host codes in a while, and the reason why is because back in March of last year, we knew that they were going away, and since I wasn't doing the card kits, that I decided to not even mention it anymore, but I do know that there are other demos that are still using them. So if those things, they're going to be disabled as well. Let's see. Um, okay, and if you're a demo and you have any product credits at all, those product credits, they say, are going to be converted to Stampin' Rewards. And if I remember right, I think the way it's going to work, that for every, is it for every, wait, hold on, how's it going to work? Starting, I think it was starting at $20. Um, Stampin' Rewards, gosh, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Basically, when you place orders, more people are going to be able to take advantage of of the Stampin' Rewards. So basically, uh, I think the minimum order is like $20, and then from there, you get like so many points for how much your order is, and then you wouldn't be able to redeem them in that particular order, but you would be able to use it in the following order. Um, yeah, and then it's saying April 15th that the website is going to be taken down for 6 hours, and then it'll come back up, and then that whole new Stampin' Reward program is going to be in place. So let me just put this down in place, and we're going to get started, because I've taken a look at these past Friday night lives, and we've been going like over 2 hours, so we want to try and get that to be a little bit less. And I know, like, one of the things that was a cause of it too is that I was showing you all those birthday cards. But again, there's just two that came in the mail. Um, Actually, you know what? Here, let me just show them now. So this card, this one came from. This is from Susan. Yeah, so Susan, this one came from Susan. I actually did a card. I did swap cards actually with this set. And of course, the purple and the green go very well together. And then this card came from Gail. And so really cute. This is like those foil embellishments. I do have them somewhere around here. Okay, so hey Stacy. So these are the only two cards that showed up this week. So we've taken care of that. Well, we've done that first. So this week I am doing the Labeled with Love bundle. Now with this bundle, they did something a little different in our annual catalog, that Labeled with Love is one of those bundles that you can get it with the stamp set and a coordinating punch, or you can get it with the stamp set and then a set of 3 dies that'll cut out this image. Now, a lot of us, we like punches because they're so much quicker and easier to use. But there were a lot of samples that I saw where on like a sheet of designer series paper that they had cut out this label like in 3 areas on, like one on top of each other on that piece. Well, it'd be a little bit hard to do it using the punch. So now I'm thinking I may have to invest in the dies that kind of bundles with this as well. So, but I have the punch, and so the projects that we'll be doing, we're going to work with the punch. So, usually I do everything like ahead of time, especially like, um, doing die cutting and stuff. But this particular, these projects here, uh, whatever needed to be die cut, I die cut it ahead of time. We'll be doing the stamping and the punching. Um, and actually the next card, the second card that I'll be doing, and the third card, images that are in the stamp set. So the gifts and the butterflies, there of course is no die for that, so I am actually going to fussy cut. They are not fussy cut in advance, so just kind of bear with me when I do that, because yeah, fussy cutting is not one of those things that's top on my list of what I like to do. But when you don't have a die for it, you have to do what you have to do, right? Yeah, scan and cut works great, but unfortunately I can't bring the scan and cut out while I'm doing the live, because of course this is the space I would use it, and it's just not, there's not enough space to do it. But to do this while we're live, I will break down and I will fussy cut, and hopefully I won't grumble as I go. So, all right, so for this card, let me give you the dimensions on this one. So I thought, let's go with something bright and cheery. Now, this card that we're going to do, let me show you where the idea for this one um, came from. So where's the bundle? Okay, so here's the bundle right here. So again, you got the option where you can bundle it with the set of 3 dies or with the punch. Now, these numbers here, this is to get it individually. If you want the bundle where the pricing of this is 10% off, use the numbers up here. So this one here, this is for the stamp set and the dies, and then this one here is for the stamp set and the punch. So this particular card, I'm casing this one, and I think I just got a stamp stuck to this. Yes, I do. If you ever lose stamps, especially photopolymer, and you got a catalog out, yeah, if you can't find them, they're probably stuck to the catalog. So this is the card that I'm casing. They did this in, what was that? Shy Shamrock and Shaded Spruce. And they looks like they used petal pink for the flowers. So I looked at that and I'm like, I'm not really digging, that color combination. So I decided to change it up, and we're going to be using some lemon lolly. So I have my card base. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have another piece cut at 5 by 3. I have a scrap piece of basic white that we're going to do our stamping and our punching on. And then I have, this is basically a scrap piece. It's about 2.5 inches by one half inch wide. We're going to stamp the greeting on here, and then I'm going to be actually separating that greeting. So let's start with folding and burnishing the card base. And we'll set that aside. And then this piece, we're going to set that aside as well. Now let me get my blocks here. And get these on here. The flowers. And then we got our greeting. Make sure I don't have any ink on here. Seeing one little spot that looks like there's pink or something on it. Okay, and then let me add some Mia's here. Hello, Mia. Say hi to Stacy. If Stacy's still here. Stacy, say hi to Mia. Okay, so we've added some to there. All right, so for the colors of ink that I am using for this card, I am going to use Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, and Melon Mambo. And let's see what else. We're going to be using some of that. And we're going to be using some of that. So let me just pull that out as well. I don't need pink. Why did I pull that out? No, I wanted the green. I wanted that. It's not Granny Apple Green. That's Melon Mambo. All right. So what are we doing? Okay. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. Since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I want to get a good stamped image. So on my greeting piece, I am going to stamp Thanks Friend. And I'm going to do that in Crushed Curry. Move this up. And hopefully I'm still in the screen. Okay, and then we're going to trim that down, and we're going to separate the two words. Oh, I still need that. Then on the basic white piece here, I am going to stamp this frame here 4 times in my Crushed Curry. And I'll go on this side. Okay. And then we're going to bring in the Granny Apple Green. And we're going to do our greenery pieces. Now, on these 4 frames, I am only going to stamp 3 of these. One of these I'm going to leave empty. So now that I say that, watch I go and I stamp in all 4 of them. So I'm going to stamp my greenery piece first. Just center it into, I'll do these 3. And then one more. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in Daffodil Delight. And then there is this flower image here. So the way that these flowers are arranged on this, they are going to fit right in between these leaves. So I'm going to stamp these, and hopefully I can line this all up. It's a little tricky. hopefully we'll get it. Okay, not bad. And then one more. Bring it down just a little bit. Okay, so we got that. So we're done with the stamping. And let me move that. Let me bring in the punch. I'm just going to fan this a little bit, just to make sure that ink is dry. And now I'm going to punch these all out. Line it up. Just trying to get this lined up. So that way it fits in there perfectly. So let me make mention of this again. So since we got more people on here, pinned up at the top of the chat box is the link to the Google spreadsheet. If you would like to have your name added at the very end, I'm going to do a wheel of names to do a drawing for the 3 cards that I make tonight. So if you're interested in being on that list, again, the link is pinned up at the top. And if you're having any issues with that at all and you would like your name on there, just simply make a comment in the chat box and somebody here will be more than happy to add your name. Okay. Line this up. Okay, so we got those all punched out. And let me move that out of the way. Okay, so let's put this up here. And then let's take our greeting. And I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my little mini trimmer here. And I'm going to take a little bit off on the ends. And then I'm going to cut it in half, but it's going to be a little bit hard for me to hold that down without it shifting because it's not a very big piece. So I am going to bring in my snips. Okay, and then hopefully I get that straight. So we wanted to separate thanks friend. All right. Now I am going to take 2 of the floral tags. I'm going to bring in, I'm going to use my seal this time for this instead of the liquid glue. And I'm going to add some to the back of this. And I want to do that on 2 of these. All right, and then I'm going to add one right up here. Now I'm not going to completely press them down because I want to have a little bit of a gap in between these 2, which it looks good, so I can press that down. All right, and then on this I'm going to bring in the Baker's Twine 3 color pack. So it's got Balmy Blue, Flirty Flamingo, and Lemon Lolly. So of course we're going to use the Lemon Lolly one. And we are going to wrap this around. And I want this long enough so I can tie a bow on here. Okay. And then let's tie a bow. Now, a little trick for tying a bow, especially when you can't hold that ribbon or your twine tight as you're trying to tie this. What I do is I bring in a reverse locking tweezers, and I'm going to get this kind of started like so. And then I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to kind of clamp down where they join. And then I have my two free hands here to tie my bow. And since I'm doing, doing it on a video, you watch, it's going to take me, I'm going to struggle with tying it. That's how it usually rolls. Okay, loop around like so. And then we can take that out. And then we can fix our bow like so. And of course I gotta adjust it a little bit. But let's see. I'm gonna have to come over like over here. And I'll fix that. Let me just make sure that it's where I want it. Move this over just a little bit more. Okay. And we'll fix this bow here in a second, because the other one here with the flowers, this is going to lay on top. All right, let's make sure we put it the right way. And then take this and line it up, bring it down a little bit. And make sure that's straight. Of course, when it's sitting on that twine, it wants to pop off. So press that down. And then on this one, we're going to add adhesive to this, and this is going to tuck underneath that twine. So that's going to go right under here. Kind of line it up. Make sure that we got it evenly distanced here. Okay. And then now we can take our bow and we can kind of finagle with this a little bit to get our bow looking good. Okay. And then we're going to take this and we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And let me turn my thing around. Okay, we'll add corners. And let's see, get the sides, and then we'll get in here because we don't want this to be all saggy on us. some things here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to center this on my card base like so. And then the thanks friend, I'm going to add a little bit. Actually, it's going to be easier for me to use the liquid glue on these pieces. And then I'm going to glue these down right here. Move that down a little bit. Get a little bit of glue. Then we'll add our thanks, just kind of coming over a little bit over the edge there. And make sure that's straight. And then our friend. We'll kind of pull that out just a little bit, like so. Okay, so let's see, we're going to trim our bow a little bit here. Okay, and then for my embellishments, let's see, does Terry recognize what suite these are from? She should know. It's one of, I know it's one of her favorite suites. So the colors in these embellishments, yep, these are the Opal Rounds assortment. This is part of that Mediterranean suite. Actually, see, the one time I actually got the catalog in front of me. Yeah, the Mediterranean blooms. So in here, the colors that are in this, I wrote them on the back. There's Clear, Daffodil Delight, and Night of Navy. So I am going to use the Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to use the smaller ones on these. And I have 3 more on this pack here. So I'm going to add one in the center of this flower. And then this one will be in this bottom one. And then this one will be up in this top one right here. So there is the first card. So let me kind of move this stuff out so I don't end up losing everything here. But there is the first card. So a whole lot of bright and sunny yellow on this card. So yeah. I mean, you think of sunny and then you think of summer, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to think of summer. Summer, it's too hot here. I don't like summer here. But then I also don't care for winter either. So, yes, yellow and navy do go very well together. So I'm going to quickly clean these off. And we'll get to the next card. Now, the next card, this is another case that's out of the annual catalog, but I had changed it up, and it also turns out that, and I don't know if any of you guys had caught it or not, but it was something that I had created for World Card Making Day. So 2 years ago, when I was going to hold an in-person event for World Card Making Day, whatever projects that we made during that event, I was also going to do those projects when I went live. And so I did that the first year, so 2 years ago. Last year, Stampin' Up! Used these card kits with these punch outs, but I was not like these ephemera packs and the card bases. Yeah, there was no stamping being done on these cards, so I was not going to do that. I need to be a little bit more, you know, challenged on it. So this is one of the projects that I had done in it, but it was changed up a little bit. So this is actually like a little gift box that was made. And so they have the ribbon on there, but I took this and I made it in the card. Now, when I did it for World Card Making Day, this pink paper that you see behind the butterflies and this punched piece, that paper is from that, I don't know the exact name, but it's part of that Lily Pond Lane suite that actually that's going to be next Friday's video. So they used a piece of that pink designer series paper, and that's what I used when I did the World Card Making Day event. Now, while I have this here, you can see that those punches are in the middle of the designer series paper. That was done with the die, so it would be a little bit harder to try and do that with a punch, especially, you know, trying to get the one in the middle. So that's where I was thinking, you know, maybe I should invest in the set of die, so then that way I have the option to where I can do a card like that. So this, I'm going to be casing this for the next card. So let me, whoa, don't want anything to fall behind me. All right, so for this card, let me get all my pieces here. So for this one, definitely for those who love the pink. And let me see. Oh, well, of course, orange and blue. Yes, most definitely. So like when you take Night of Navy and Pumpkin Pie together, being from Long Island, the colors are blue and orange, and my favorite hockey team is the New York Islanders, and that's the color that those are the colors that they wore. So yes, I definitely like the blue and orange. Okay, so I have for my card base a piece of Melon Mambo 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of basic white that measures 5.25 by 4. And ahead of time for this, I did emboss it using the Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder. Now, the sample that was in the catalog, they actually had added ink. So you can do this where you can add ink to the one side of your embossing folder and then carefully put your cardstock in there. And when you close it up and run it through, the color that's on that raised area of the embossing folder will end up on the cardstock. Now, I tried that. I used that method when I did the World Card Making Day cards, but it seemed a little bit much. It just didn't look right. So I'm going to do a little bit of ink spritzing on this to kind of give almost a similar look, but it's going to be a little bit more faint. It's not, you're not going to have like these big, you know, drops of ink on it. So basic white 5.25 by 4 embossed with that Dashing Designs embossing folder. Then out of a scrap piece of Pretty in Pink, I have die cut the largest rectangle die in the Nested Essentials dies. And then I have a scrap piece of white. I'm going to stamp my frame and then my greeting in it on this piece. And then ahead of time, I did stamp 2 of those butterfly outlines using the Memento Tuxedo black ink. So I'm going to color these in with my light Melon Mambo, dark Flirty Flamingo, and light Melon Mambo, dark Daffodil Delight, and dark Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to use the dark Melon Mambo to add some spritzing onto that. So let me do that part first. So before I do that, let me grab a piece of, yeah, and of course, you know, when you use the dye-based inks to ink up your embossing folder, all you have to do is just simply rinse it out and then let it air dry and you're good to go. Now, if you use something like Stays On ink or something, then no, that's, I don't know what's going to get that off. I don't know if rubbing alcohol or whatever. I've never tried it. I don't think I want to. So, all right. So on this piece, I want to add a little bit of color onto this. So I am going to use my Stampin' Blends. Now, you can also use your Stampin' Right markers. Those are the thinner, you know, the water-based ones where you can take the brush tip of it and then you can flick it, you know, with the lid. Now, the thing is, you really cannot do that with your Stampin' Blends. You can see this one looks, the tip of it looks a little, you know, chewed up and messed up. You will easily destroy the tip if you do one of these things with it. So instead, what I'm going to do is I have my bone folder and I'm just going to tap some of this color on here. And it is getting on there. It's just that these drops are like, they're just they're very tiny. So let me see if you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it's just it's very tiny. So that's the Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to take the light Melon Mambo and I'm going to do the same thing. So these drops are a little bit bigger. I guess that just means that this marker is just a little bit more juicier than the other one. So I'm going to add that on there. And so now you can see those pink splatters a little bit more. And again, this is with the light Melon Mambo. If I use the darker one, then it would be darker. Let me set this aside. And then what I'm going to do is this Pretty in Pink piece here. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use my dark Melon Mambo marker. And you can see that this definitely, you can really see these splatters on this. So this one, the tip of this is in good condition. And of course, there's a lot of ink that's in that brush tip. So that's how I'm getting those bigger splatters on this piece. All right, so now let me get this out of the way. And of course, you can see there's splatters all over the place. So when you do something like that, cover your surface. Actually, I'm going to have to clean this again. I removed everything off of this last night and wiped everything down. But now I'm going to have to get some alcohol to clean this silicone mat that's on the top here. All right, so we're going to fold and burnish our card base. And of course, when you do that, if you have any white cardstock or some that you may have on the side to use on your card, make sure that's out of the way too, so you don't get any ink. And you know what? I see that I got some splatters of ink on my laptop, so I'm gonna have to clean that off too. All right, so I'm gonna take my embossed white piece here that I just splattered. And I'm going to use my seal and I'm going to add some on here. And then we'll put this on our card base. Okay. Okay. Oh, so Tracy, you're saying that on the embossing folder, instead of using colored ink, you've done it with Versamark? I've never done that. I'm sure that, I'm pretty sure that will. And then what do? Add some, or spritzing. Spritzing too. Okay, so we have that. We have this piece here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add this to, well, I'm just going to add some dimensionals. We'll add this to the card base when we get those butterflies done. I agree with you, Becky. 70 year round, I'd be happy. I would love fall year round, to be honest with you. That's my favorite. That's my favorite season. Okay, so we have those two pieces. Then let's take our scrap piece here. And we have our frame. Oh, nice bruise on top of my hand that I just noticed. I want my Melon Mambo ink. And let's see, let's get our frame piece. And we're going to stamp that. Okay, and then let me get my grading. And for this one, I think I had used Enjoy Today on the other cards. I think I'm going to do the You Are Loved on this one. I haven't used this particular stamp yet, so let's use it on this card. Let me get these all out of the way. And let me get a block. Okay. Ah, I get it. You know, I've done it too, where like if I take my Versamark and I just scrape it a little bit, like on, like say on something that's embossed, and I do it lightly and I just do it in some spots. And then I take the embossing powder and I'll sprinkle a little bit here and there and then heat emboss it. And then that's looks really cool too. I mean, you don't have as much powder on there, but it's a nice vintage look to a card. Okay, so then I'm going to take, let's see, we're going to take the same color ink. We're going to ink this up, and then I'm going to stamp this up near the top. Okay. And let's close this up, and then let that dry a little bit. I went and I stamped something, and I used black ink. And of course, I went to go and punch it, and that black ink had smeared. So I want to make sure my ink is dry before I put it through that punch. And I apologize for the shaking. Okay. And then, let's see, I don't need this one. We're going to put this away. And let's put that away because everything gets cluttered up very quickly over here. All right, so let me bring in my punch. And we're going to punch this out. Okay. We got another little scrap piece there that we can use. All right. So then I am going to add dimensionals to the back of this piece. I'll just add 3 on here. Okay, and then I'm going to put this, kind of center this on here like so. Okay, we'll set that aside. Let's see. We can take this and we can put this on there. Okay, and then I'm going to put this kind of like at an angle like so. Now we'll set that aside. One of the other things that I want to do with my blends, I have, this is, what is this? This is the silver and white sheer ribbon. I'm going to take a piece of this. Now I want to make a bow. So I'm going to tie my bow first so I know how long of a piece to cut. Come on. I don't need a really big bow. Okay, and then let me trim this down. Okay, and we'll put our pin back in there so we don't lose our pin. Because if that gets in the rug, I don't want that in my foot. That would not feel good. Okay, so then I'm going to take my dark Daffodil Delight blend. And actually, you know what? This one, let me get my light one. I did this with the dark, and it's pretty dark, so I'm going to try this one with the light. So with the side of the brush tip, I'm just going to go across, and even some of this yellow will end up on that silver part as well. And you want to be gentle with this. You don't want to destroy the tip of your marker. So this is just going to be a really faint yellow on this ribbon. And I'll show you the sample card too when we're done, so you can see the difference between the dark and the light, and then also the different greeting that I used on that punch. So I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side, primarily to get the silver on this, because when you go to tie the bow, you're going to see like the back side of the ribbon. Now you're going to see a lot of silver because I am using the light Daffodil Delight rather than the dark. If you do the dark, it is going to cover that up a little bit better. The one thing so for those of you that have the Stampin' Blends, do you find that the Daffodil Delight color has like a much stronger alcohol smell to it? For some reason, that one just seems stronger than the rest. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Now you can see that it's very, very faint. Now, the one thing when you use alcohol markers on your ribbon, I've noticed that it also like stiffens the ribbon up a little bit. So we'll let that dry. And once that dries, that ink color is not going to come off. If you use, whether you use like say some re-inker in water and then you kind of put your ribbon in there to color it, or if you use your Stampin' Right marker, know that the color is going to wipe off on that. So alcohol markers are the best bet for that. Okay, so then these two butterflies, we're going to do a little bit of coloring. So I'm going to bring in my light Melon Mambo, and I'm going to do kind of like the outer edges of the wings. Now there's this black part here that has those little white dots on it. I'm not going to color that. So I'm going to add the Melon Mambo. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing on this one. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in this is the dark flirty flamingo. And let me see, what does this brush tip look like? Oh yeah, that's all tore up. And then I'm just gonna come in, I'm not gonna go all the way to the middle. I'm just gonna bring in a little bit, and then I'm gonna blend that with the Melon Mambo. Okay, and then for the last part of this, I'm going to bring in my dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to blend that a little bit into that flirty flamingo. So these three colors together just look really cool. It gives the flirty flamingo and the Daffodil Delight together, kind of gives you that orange tone. So they look really, really cool. Okay, we're done with coloring that, so that's what they look like. So now the fun part. The fun part. Not. Bear with me, because this is going to be a struggle. See, this is where I could be using my assistant. Where did she go? Has she not come back yet? I don't see her. All right. Now, I want to tell you that there are demonstrators that make this look very, very easy. I'm not one of them. And there was one of the classes I did with Ange McKay, and you know, she makes it look all easy, and I said, nope, yeah, I'm not good at this. And we've come to the conclusion that there makes a really big difference if you're fussy cutting, if you're between being a lefty and a righty, that the way you would hold the scissors and go around, it is a little bit easier than as if you're cutting with your left hand. So I'm the type, I mean, I'll pull out my scan and cut only because I like my edges to look kind of clean and not so raggedy. But yeah, for this, it's a little hard to, when you're doing a live, to pull that out and do it. Now, I could have stamped these butterflies like I did ahead of time, and then I could have pulled that out, and I could have gone and cut these out with that, and then all I had to do was just go and color it. But yeah, I wasn't really thinking when I did that, because I guess I really didn't want to go and pull that out and set it up and then have to put it away. And but there's one of them. One more to go. Let's see. Well, I can tell you that she's sick. She's got a cold or something. And what's crazy, she was here, like I said, she was here last Saturday and Sunday. And I mean, she was fine. But yeah, when I talked to her yesterday, she didn't sound really good. She sounded all congested, and I don't know about you, but first off, I rarely ever get sick, but when I do, I'm just miserable. I'm not happy. I don't like being sick. especially, you know, if you got the issue with the coughing and when you're laying down, because then I just get very irritated and aggravated, you know, when you're trying to sleep and then you can't because you can't stop coughing. So, so far so good. I'm not feeling congested or anything like that. So, oh, you lost track of time. What? Oh, she got it. Vaughn, Vaughn, you got into a TV show? This is a TV show, woman. Oh, seriously. Vaughn. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so there is the second one. Okay, my thumb doesn't feel all that bad, but the final card, there's a little bit of fussy cutting on that as well, but that's mostly all straight edges. Okay, so then on this ribbon, now that it's dry, I'm going to tie my bow. I hate when you do this and you get one end that has a much longer tail than the other. Okay, math isn't so hard, but the way that they're teaching kids how to do math, I don't know what the heck that is. I mean, that I don't know what that is, but that don't make no sense to me. All right, so we got our bow. So now I'm going to trim this down. Okay, and actually I'm going to put this down first and then, but what I'm going to do first, see, it's like all these things that go on and it's like, okay, what do you want to do first? What do you want to do next? So on these butterflies, I'm going to kind of bend these wings a little bit. I'm going to take a large dimensional and put it right there in the middle of both of these. And then I'm going to take a small one because there's not much space up on the above that to put another large one. So I'm going to put a mini one up there. Okay. And then, let's see, one of these. Okay, one is going to go right over here, like so. Now, before I put the other one down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to add this to these wings. Now, what I like about this, again, it adds the sparkle to it, but then it just makes those colors pop a little bit more. So we'll add those to the wings. Okay, and then we can add some to the middle of the body. And then let's get the other one. And then this one we'll add right over here, like so. And then we'll add Wink of Stella to this one as well. Okay. Then we will take our glue dots. Ooh, resumes. Who's got to do a resume? Oh, your son proofreads resumes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to add a glue dot on either side of that knot instead of just doing the one on the back of the knot because I want my bow to stay. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add this right on the top here. And then I'm going to trim those tails so they're a little bit shorter. And then for my embellishments on this one, I'm going to bring in a different embellishment. I'm going to use, these are the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels. All right. So then on here, so on the sample card, I did the small ones and they kind of disappear on this white. So I'm going to use the large ones on this one. And we'll add there. And then we'll add another one right up here. So you can see these a little bit better. So let me put that away there and let me show you the second card. So this is my take off of that treat packaging that they had in the catalog. And here's the original, the other sample that I did. You can see I used the Enjoy Today. The ribbon, I colored that using the dark Daffodil, the light Stampin' Blend, and this one was the light. And then, of course, with the embellishments, it's the same one, except I used the tiny ones on this card, and then I used the larger ones on here, so you can see them a little bit better with the larger ones. So there is our second card. So now for our last card. So the past few weeks that I've been doing these cards, I think Terry's been a little bit bummed because none of them have been blue. So as I was creating these samples, I'm thinking I gotta do some kind of blue. And so I'm obliging. So here is the pieces to this card. This is going to be a birthday card. And so the pieces that I have for this, so my card base, well, we got the blue tonight. So this is Blueberry Bushel. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Lemon Lime Twist. This is 5.5 by 3. I have a piece of the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. It's a 6 by 6 paper. This was part of a birthday suite that was, I think it was the last annual catalog, but the paper had carried over. So the colors in here are Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, and Pretty Peacock. So I basically took, when I chose this pattern of paper, I just looked at the colors that are in it, and then that's what determined the cardstock pieces and the ink colors that I'm going to use for this one. So this piece of Designer Series paper measures 5.5 by 2 3/4. And then I have a scrap piece of basic white. So I'm going to do some stamping on here, and let me bring in the ink for this one. I got quite a few. So I have Azure Afternoon. I have Berry Burst. Now I have these stored upside down rather than this way because when I did the cards, I had to like push some of that ink in there so it wasn't so inky. So that's why I have them that way instead of this way. And we got Bubble Bath. So it's Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Lemon Lolly, and Fresh Freesia. So all the colors that are in our paper. So let me get my Pearson mat. And then let me get the stamps that we're going to use. So on here you have this solid gift. And then you have this other one here that has like this confetti that will line right up over that. And it'll put that confetti in each of those solid spaces on the gift. So I'm going to pull those out. And I also want the happy birthday stamp. And then I'm going to take some of these off of here so I can use these blocks. So let me put these back on here. Okay, so I'll move that out of the way. We need this piece. We need our happy birthday. And then we need our two gifts. All right. So for the frame piece on here, I'm going to stamp that in Azure Afternoon. I'm going to kind of move this up a little bit because it looks like I'm a little too far down. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp this right here. And then for the happy birthday, I'm going to stamp that in Berry Burst. Okay, that'll go right in the middle. Okay. And then for the presents, what I'm going to do is, so the solid part of the presents, I'm going to do that in Bubble Bath and in the Lemon Lolly. So let me get the solid gift here. And let's see, let's ink this up. And stamp that right there. And then I'm going to have to clean that up. So we're going to use that again with a different color. While I got this open, let me clean these two stamps up. All right, and then let's see, we want the Bubble Bath. My Bubble Bath. You know, when I ink it up, you can barely see that ink on there, but it's there. Okay, so there's our Bubble Bath. And then let's see, Fresh Freesia, we're going to do that confetti on top of the Bubble Bath, and then on top of the Lemon Lolly, I am going to stamp that using Lemon Lime Twist. All right, so let me clean that. And then we get this gifty part. Now you can kind of see where it's open in there. So this is pretty easy to line up. So Lemon Lime Twist is going to go over the Bubble Bath. No, over the Lemon Lolly. And stamp right over that, like so. It's easier when you try to line this up. It's hard to match up like the edges, but if you look at the center where it's open, it makes it a little bit easier to line that up. Oh, yeah, I know what you got. Yes, she will be. So, yeah, so last Saturday I had opened up the gifts that Terry had them sent to Yvonne. So last weekend when we were back here after we had dinner, uh, I had opened them, and you see there was a whole theme to everything. So if you remember the birthday card that she did with the flamingo, which of course is sitting right here because something's got to be done with this. This can't be just like thrown in a box or anything. But so there was a theme here, purple and a flamingo. So I have a really soft throw that's brightly colored with flamingos on it. There's flamingo socks, there's flamingo towels, and then there's one of those little dish drain things that has a flamingo on it too. So lots of flamingos. So she went with a theme. I don't even know, did I clean this? Yep. We schemed. Uh-oh. Oh, Vaughn, you know how bad Terry can get. Okay, so now I'm going to ink this up in the fresh freesia, and then I'm going to stamp over this bubble bath, like so. All right, so the stamping part is done. So let me get these out of the way. All right, and I'll clean this off so we don't worry about getting any ink on anything. And I'll move these out of the way. All right. So I am going to punch out the label. Just center that in there. Okay. And here we go. Let's get through this. So let me trim this. And we'll put that aside. And let's separate these. It's nice, at least most of this is all straight cuts. But then there's the top there. Okay, and now there is the top. See, this is a struggle for me. Well, I would say Terry plans well in advance. Okay, so trim around the bow. And straight. So there is our first gift. And then we got our second one. Hey, what did I miss here? Oh, my holding out. Okay, Yvonne, come on. You've known Terry how long? You should know by now. You should know by now that Terry is always, I mean, she's a planner. She's got things planned well in advance. So, you know that. I don't know any you know more than I do. I'm just in the little amount of time that I've known her, I'm just very observant. I'm looking forward to the end of April. It ought to be fun. Well, wait a minute. It ought to be fun. Yeah, it will be fun. There'll be lots of laughs. And we're going to see what we can do about that Friday night live. So she's going to be coming in on a Friday. And last year when she came into town that Friday, I actually did a pre-record, but we're still working it out to see if we can introduce you to Terry in person so you can see her lovely face and maybe let her take over that Friday night live like Yvonne did a few weeks ago. But we still got to work that out. It's all about a timing thing, you know, like when she gets in and all that other stuff. So, all right. So for my card base, we're going to fold and burnish this. So now the hard part's done. It was that fussy cutting. Don't scare them. No one's going to be scared. Yeah, I would need a bigger desk. I would need a much bigger desk. All right, so then my piece of lemon lime twist. And add some adhesive to this. And we're going to center that on here. I'll make sure I get this even. Okay. And then we have our paper. And I think for the paper, I'm going to use my liquid glue because at least with this, it gives me that little bit of wiggle room on it. Whereas that Stampin' Seal, yeah, it sticks pretty well. And I don't want to be tearing things apart, so. Okay. I think that's what keeps you guys coming back is all the banter. And there's a little bit of card making in there too. All right, so we have that on top of that. Then I am going to, now this is a color that's not in there, so I'm going to bring in some ribbon. This is the Petunia Pop bordered ribbon. So even though this color isn't in here, if you see, it looks pretty close to that Berry Burst. So I'm gonna, we don't have no Berry Burst ribbon. I mean, I can take white ribbon and I can color it, but why do that when I can just do this? Okay, so I'm going to take a piece, I'm just going to loop it over, and then I'm going to trim it. Like so. Now this is one of those colors in the in colors that are going to carry over for another year when this annual catalog retires. It's going to be, what is it, Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, Copper Clay, Boho Blue, and Pebble Path. Those are the 5 colors that are going to retire. So if there's anything that you like in those colors, I wouldn't wait till last minute. I would say, you know, sometime in March, if there's stuff that you want to save on risking on stuff selling out, because as you get a little bit closer to that catalog retiring, they're not going to replenish stuff. So if it's something that you really, really like, get it before it's gone. I typically order some, like maybe like 2 extra packs of, so I put some seal down in the middle there, and then I just stuck my ribbon over that. Now I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. Yeah, so I think sometime like in probably maybe mid-March, near the end of March or so, I probably, or maybe near the very beginning of April, I'll get all of my in color stuff that's going away. All right, so now take this and I'm going to put this right in the center. And then my lemon lolly gift, I'm glued to the back of this. And I'm going to place this right down here at an angle. And then this other gift here, the bubble bath one, I'm going to add 2 dimensionals to the back of this. Oops, I didn't get that paper. Okay, Deborah, we're almost done. All right, and then for my embellishments, for this one, I am going to use, these are the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. And so in this one, you have Misty Moonlight. I think that's fresh. I think that's Fresh Freesia, and then you have Coastal Cabana. So for this one, I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight ones because that's one of the colors that's in this paper. So let's take one of these larger ones and put that there. And then 2 of the smaller ones. Oops. I'm going to add those right there. And so then there is our 3rd card. So let me put this aside and show you the card. So I didn't add any Wink of Stella on here because I know it would pull up that ink. So I didn't add any of that on there. So there is the 3rd card. All right, so I'm going to tidy this up just really quickly. We're going to do the card drawing. So if anybody needs to add their name to that spreadsheet, again, the link to it is pinned up at the top of the chat box. And if you have any issues or problems doing that, just say something in the chat, and then someone can get your name added. just take all these and I'm going to I'll just stick them in the lid here, and then I'll put everything away right when we're all done. Okay. Put those away. Put that away. Put that away. All right, so now let me just move this out of the way. So we got plenty of room. All right. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so what I'm seeing on here is Sharon, Terry, Tracy, Froggy, and Deborah. Anyone else? Okay, Becky, we'll get your name on there. Oops, why didn't it do anything? All right, so I got Becky on there. And Yvonne's skipping on this one. Carol, do you want to be on here? Oh, okay, you're still here, Stacy. Okay. Okay. Okay, I got Becky added on there. Okay, so on here I have Sharon, Terry, Tracy, Froggy, Deborah, who just left us. Got Becky and Brown Sugar, aka Stacy. Okay, so we got everybody. Let me move my water out of the way. And then let me put the cards out. So 1, 2, and 3. And let me get my little bin here that's got all these little sticky notes. And let me get my laptop here. And if you hadn't already done so, please hit the thumbs up button, the like button, and what do you call it? And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Now, everyone here, you're all subscribed. So if anybody's watching the replay, so I went to bring my laptop in and then realized, oh, I gotta like take all the names and copy and paste them over. So I think we got everybody. Copy. And then let's add them over here. Okay, and then I'll bring this back in. And again, just as I made them, 1, 2, and 3, if I draw your name, just let me know which one you want, and we'll pull it out. And let me just make sure we got anybody else that said anything. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's spin this. Let me get these lights out of the way. We're at the the 2 hour mark. For some reason, I don't think I can do a video any shorter, huh? But okay. But I'm very thankful that all of you are still with me. Becky, you are the first one. And Becky, I do not think I have your address. So what I will need you to do for me, hon, is in the description, if you only see part of it, click on that more. In there is my email address. Just send me an email and let me know what your mailing address is. I need another little sticky. Number 2, okay. Yeah, just send if you can. Well, just like as an FYI, so typically I get these things out in the mail like on Sunday, but it may take a little bit for me to get these out because, like I was mentioning in the very beginning, I'm kind of limiting on how much I'm driving with my car because I do need to get the front brakes replaced on it. So. But yeah, these will go out, so I'm probably going to be doubling up when I go to mail out the cards. So now we got 1 and 3 left. So let me remove Becky's name. Sharon. Is Sharon still with us? I don't know if I've seen Sharon in a while. If Sharon isn't here, then we'll... Oh, yes, you are. There you are. Okay. Number 3. Okay, and then our last card is Froggy. Okay. All right, so let me do this. Let me go back here and we'll move that off and get this out of the way. Out like so. Yep, you got number 1. Okay, so I'll just put these cards right here. We'll just put the little sticky notes inside so you can see them, and I can bring the lights back in so it doesn't look so dark. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me tonight. Hope that you enjoyed the 2 hours that we were together. Now, if you came on late, as far as birthday cards go for this week, it wasn't as there was not near as many this week that came in as what came in the past couple of weeks. So there's just 2 cards, and I showed them at the very beginning. Let's see what's going on. So also, I think everyone here too, I think all of you are on my newsletter. So the link for that is in the video in the description as well, along with all those links that take you to the online store where like all the sales stuff and everything that's going on. And then just another reminder that Celebration, that will be ending next week on the 28th. And plus there's some extra items that they have also added on there. Let's see, anything else? I don't think I have anything else other than next week is actually going to be a pretty big like video week. So I'm going to have my Throwback Thursday, which I'll be using by the Doc bundle. Next Friday, I am going to use the Lily Pond Lane suite. And then for the Christmas one, I pulled out Merriest Moments bundle. So that's one of those that has one of those hybrid embossing folders with it. So that's going to be for Saturday's videos on the first. So I think that's all I have. So again, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. That all helps out. And so wherever you may be, stay warm, or some of you are really comfortable where you're at because of the temperature. But stay safe and have a blessed one, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.